Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the Sunday weekly forecast for all signs for the week of April 17th through the 23rd. It is not solely set for that date. It's originally created for that date, but if you're seeing it on a different date, know that there may still be a message in here or something that may apply and you might be able to utilize. If you want to do me a favor, sorry, I went to the gym yesterday. I'm really sore. I woke up this morning, my body's really sore, and I got like, I don't know, it's crazy. Um, so please check out the drop down menu underneath the video. In there is things I want you to think about when utilizing my readings, how to support the channel. Some easy ways to do that is to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, watch my videos, leave a question or comment, share the videos out. All of those things are greatly appreciated. I'm a small channel and trying to build, and I would love to get bigger and more and help more people. So please help me in doing that. What else do I need to say? This is a shared reading amongst all signs. So I do speak in broad terms. You have to figure out where it best fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. Nothing's wrong or broken. You just might be working on something different at this time. Okay. So each card will represent for a couple of days of the week. And it just shows us kind of what we can expect. And then as we move forward through the week, I will build upon it with each daily reading. So let's see what's going on. What do we need to know for April 17th through the 23rd? We just now had that full moon in Libra. So we want to like take the benefit of the goodness of that and release anything that we need to help us to maintain, balance in our life or reestablish balance in our life. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be letting go of negative things. It can be, letting go of our dreams and letting them go out and be manifested into the universe, but giving ourselves a little bit of balance around whatever it is we're dealing with. So let's see. What do the cards want us to know? So for the beginning of the week, we have the Eight of Swords. So swords is automatically, it's the mind, it's how we communicate, it's our thoughts, right? Excuse me, I need to sip of coffee. The Eight of Swords, and I love how she depicts this Eight of Swords, the artist in this deck. The Eight of Swords, that's a very traditional drawing of a woman being tied up, and then she has these ropes around her, right, and the blindfold on, like she can't see which way to go to get out of her predicament or out of her situation. But the interpretation here that I like about this is there's a woman, the actual woman herself is in the mirror, right? Looking at herself, and this is the reflection she sees back, or this is the perception that she has. But it's not necessarily the truth. It's just a reflection that she's created in the mirror. And with the traditional Eight of Swords, that's kind of also the meaning is that the woman is surrounded by swords all the way around her. And because she's blindfolded, she can't see that there's a direct way out right in front of her. So she's sort of sitting there feeling trapped in a way, or, we can be trapped by our surroundings, by a situation, by a person, or even by our own thoughts and perceptions of ourself in a way that makes us feel, I don't know, like maybe a little bit helpless or in trouble, in need of guidance, whatever that may be. But the truth is, when I look at this particular Eight of Swords and the way that the artist has designed it, is the girl is sitting there fine, right? Yet she sees herself a certain way in the mirror. She sees herself as being tied up, caught up, unable to make a decision, unable to make a move, unable to have freedom, right? When in all actuality, when you look at her outside of the mirror, she does have freedom. If she wants to get up and stand up and walk away, she can, right? But it's about sort of retraining our thoughts or retraining our communications with ourselves or with a situation that we're in that should allow us to find that kind of freedom, right? And it's important, I feel like, that we do this week. I feel like it's important that we give ourselves grace and ease and, honesty and truth, and to communicate the truths of the situation rather than the limitations or where we feel stuck. It's not I'm not trying to say don't like express your feelings of stuckness, but if you feel stuck, you're kind of supposed to be there. That's what the Eight of Swords would say to me. To get yourself unstuck, right? You have to look at how and where and why and what you're stuck to or within, right? And then you have to realize that you're bigger than this or the situation, the person, the idea, and start to reroute your thoughts or take a higher perspective, look at it from a different vantage point, and realize that you're only as stuck as your mind, your thoughts, um, whatever, or the even however the situation is communicating it to you. It's kind of like in some ways it's incorrect. It's not necessarily the totality of the truth, right? And that we can get ourselves unstuck at any point in time. We just need to look at ourselves differently in the mirror or think of ourselves differently in our thoughts. Think of ourselves as empowered instead of a victim to our life or to what's going on around us. And we easily, in my mind, with the Eight of Swords, the blindfold drops away. We're able to see, and then we can move forward to the Nine of Swords, which isn't a great card, but still, it's a progression, right? The Eight of Swords means that we're facing something that maybe we don't want to look at. And so we stay caught up in the drama of, oh, help, I'm trapped, I'm trapped. But it's like, in some ways, she maybe prefers to have the blindfold on because, and this might be for some of you, it's easier than taking the responsibility of being vulnerable to our decisions and having to be responsible for whatever decisions we make moving forward, right? So ultimately, I don't think this is a bad card. I think it's just a card that's like forcing us to kind of look at where we're at, how we're feeling, what we're thinking, what we're communicating to, even if it's just to ourselves, like the tapes in our own head. What are they saying to us? Are they serving us or are they holding us back? Are they hindering us? Something to reflect upon this week, in the early part of the week, to maybe clear away or free ourselves from. So the midweek card, Four of Pentacles. So I love this too. She seems a little standoffish. I love how her pentacles are still over her heart, like the traditional meaning, but they're on her purse. Pentacles is earth energy, right? But the Four of Pentacles can sometimes mean it's normally depicted by a man with 2 feet on each pentacle and one over his heart, and I think one on his head or something like that. But he's like holding on tightly to what it is that he has. And again, to me, this speaks to this idea of limitation that we might be dealing with, facing, looking at. When I look at the Eight of Pentacles, that limitation might be I'm sorry, not the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, that limitation will be more mental, right? And how we're projecting our thoughts or what we're believing, what we're telling ourselves, the stories or the mantras that we're telling ourselves that lead us to feeling stuck or trapped. Now, this Four of Pentacles feels less stuck or trapped, right? But still, it feels cautious. She's still holding her cards or her money, her purse close to her heart, close to her body. I will say this, we may be able to see by midweek as to what we need to do, and we may be able to try and put it into practical action, but we may be reluctant to do so with this Four of Swords, the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, to me, is not the most fastest moving cards. It can sometimes be the stick in the mud card, stuck in our ways, fearful of giving too much or losing something in the process. It can be like sort of being indolent or not wanting to be vulnerable to a situation. But the truth is even though she feels a little standoffish, there's that whole city beyond her. The camera keeps going out of focus. Sorry, guys. There's that whole city beyond her. And it's like, are we holding back and missing out is kind of the feeling that I'm getting here. I get a feeling she wants to go to that city or she wants to be a part of whatever that is in her future, but she wants to be sure and stable. Fours are also about stability, right? Some of you could be like, this is a very simple read on this card. Some of you could be experiencing financial insecurity or a sort of a scantness with your money and your resources. So you're reluctant to want to like take a risk or be able to move forward. You don't feel as though you can. But the truth is I think that we can. I mean, I'm interested to see what the next 2 cards are in this reading, but we're like facing some of that this week. Where do we short sell ourselves? Where do we limit ourselves, either through our mental thoughts or in our day-to-day material world, that kind of sets us up for not being able to enjoy or expose or experience new things because we just don't believe either we're deserving of it or we're going to be successful at it or whatever those thoughts may be, right? Both of these cards say to me that you are looking at these things this week, maybe digging through them, getting comfortable with them. Certainly, the Four of Pentacles would be about sitting with them at a very body level and an awareness level of a very material level. So, grounding out those thoughts from the Eight of Swords and maybe getting some vision, although it might be a little bit limited or fearful with the Four of Pentacles, at least it's some vision, right? We see some possibility here. The Four of Pentacles can indicate being cautious with your money. So for some of you out there that, maybe don't have as much or you're focused on what little you have, do be careful. Don't go crazy and go spending it everywhere, right? I always associate the pentacles with like discernment, right? Like practical discernment. So being discerning too as to how much and what you're ready to let in also could be this Four of Pentacles vibe. But there's like things to come. That is that city in the background with her. I feel like there's a plan in place. Whether we know it or not, we're just trying to figure out, do we deserve it and how the hell are we going to get there? So here's the next card. I'll take it. 2 4s and an 8. Interesting. This is the Four of Cups. So again, 4s, like I said, are about stability. 4 of Cups is about the emotional aspect of self, right? I like that we have the 8 of Swords, which is our mind, the 4 of Pentacles, which would represent like our body or material world, our possessions or ourselves at a body level. The 4 of Cups would be ourselves at a emotional level, right? What we're feeling emotionally. Now, I don't think that this is a bad card per se, but I do feel like she's maybe looking a little bit to the past. She's feeling a little bit forlorn. There can be a bit of indecision involved with the 4 of Cups. There can be a little bit of maybe emotional confusion or reluctance to want to make a decision, want to move forward. What I do like about this card is I love this rainbow that's pouring forth into this cup that's trying to be handed to her, but she's not quite seeing it, right? She's also not seeing it here and she's not seeing it there. There's opportunities this week, I feel like, that we need to see that we might not see too clearly is the best way I could put it. With this city in the foreground, right? With the woman sitting in the mirror, not realizing she's creating her own reflection or her own opinions about herself can create what she sees in that mirror. And this young lady is not seeing the beauty of this tree growing behind her, the field of flowers and the things that are around her that are blessings, really, or things she should be grateful for and gratitude for, right? I think that these feel temporary to me. Like, I feel like we might be working through some issues or some belief systems, things at the body level, the mind level, and even the emotional level that we might need to, work our way through, sit with, and move ourselves away from, right? Or at least update them in such a way that we're able to feel a little bit more free. Now, the fact that this is like an 8-4-4 combination automatically makes me feel like we're breaking things down in a positive way, piece by piece, bit by bit, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, and really like maybe studying who we are, how we feel, what's going on for us. Does that make sense? This week might be a week of kind of reflection, and through that reflection, we are gaining stability. That's the 2 4s in all of this. It's getting a better sense of who we are, what we have, and how we can go about utilizing it to the best of our ability. We may not make any major decisions this week while doing so, because there does feel like this bit of reluctance or hesitancy with these cards, but I think that that's okay. I think that sitting with ourselves and gaining a better understanding of who we are and what we need and how we feel, what we have, and how we like hold ourselves also indicates how we're able to have the things in our lives that we have. It's going to give us a better perspective, a better awareness, so that we can maybe potentially create more from a place of empowerment and wisdom rather than from a place of just randomly, dealing with whatever shows up in our life and going like, oh, well, okay, Does that make sense? So I feel like this is the week to be, even if we're a little bit confused or questioning situations, people, those around us, and where is it that we clock in, and where our feelings are at, where are our what's the word I'm looking for? Where are our feelings at? Where are our thoughts at around any situation, guys? Because you guys are all going to be dealing with a multitude of stuff. Now is the time to kind of unpack that stuff for ourselves. I get this is also too not necessarily something that we're putting out into the world. It's more of an internal work week, let's say, as far as whatever it is we're dealing with, feeling, seeing, interacting with, even at the like material level through relationships, jobs, things like that. It's not I don't want to say that it's not an easy week, but it's not a week of like laying around idle doing nothing. This is a week about like asking ourselves maybe the tougher questions, or maybe digging in a little bit deeper to help ourselves to understand where we're at, why we're there, how we think about being there, how we got there, maybe how fear or worry kind of holds us there. That's that Four of Pentacles in a way. And then maybe actually doing something about it this week, or at least getting comfortable enough with it that that awareness will help it to automatically kind of shift and change and grow or evolve into something different, right? So, oh, we just saw her. Wasn't she just yesterday? No, she was a couple days ago. So this is card number 6, Bluebell Fairy. And the word is gratitude. And if I remember correctly, the stories about the bluebells and how they fold over and they look like they're in a state of sort of prayer or humbleness and being grateful for what we do have. I think with these cards this week, gratitude is going to be something that's going to be a potential healer for us. It's going to be the key that opens the door for us to get out of our own way in a way and be able to look at these things with a bit of an impartiality or non-judgment for ourselves, because where we're at, whether it's working for us or not, isn't necessarily something that we want to judge ourselves further or harm ourselves further through thinking, oh, I should be somewhere else. I should feel differently. Why does this bother me so? Da, 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 da. It's not about that. It's about like understanding why it bothers you and that it's okay to be bothered. It's okay to be maybe a little bit scared or reluctant, but you also need to acknowledge and honor the fact that that scared, reluctant part of you isn't necessarily what's best suited for achieving the goals or the dreams that you have for yourself. Okay? Let me read you Bluebell Fairy really quick. So I think keeping this idea of gratitude this week is going to help us to move through some of these more, I don't want to call them sludgy energies, but the fours kind of feel slow to me. The Four of Pentacles can certainly be a slow energy. And the Four of Cups, she looks a little bit forlorn, right? So we might be having some feelings towards the end of the week that aren't necessarily the most pleasant, but don't blame ourselves for that. Just sit with them and let them pass through us and understand that there's something new coming. There's that tree, there's the city and the Four of Pentacles. There's something new on its way to us. We need to be better prepared for it or better aware so that we're ready to receive it. And the gratitude is what allows us to receive, right? So the early morning forest is shrouded in low-lying mists. As you step into the meadow, you glimpse heavenly blue flowers seeming to float above the mist. Their deep color draws you closer. Each bell-shaped blossom bows down on its stem as if in prayer, humility, or gratitude. Gratitude is the secret to a joy-filled life. True thankfulness can work like modern-day alchemy, yielding happiness and peace beyond imagination. And it's so simple. Find what's good and wonderful in every moment. No matter what's happening around you, there's always something to be grateful for. Whatever you appreciate in life will grow. So discover what you're thankful for, even the people and situations you found challenging, and watch miracles unfold. The universe is grateful for you. Appreciation for everything flows through you in great bounty. Cherish the preciousness of life and everyone and everything around you, and miracles will abound. In addition to gratitude, bluebells are thought to symbolize humility. As you step into the soft, gentle energy of humbleness, You'll find that your gratitude for even the smallest things in life expands. Bluebells open the door to magic. Legends describe ringing the bluebell like you would a bell in order to bring fairies to you. In the spring, bluebells grow throughout the woodlands in a lush carpet, and you can feel the magic simply by being near. The spirit of the bluebell fairy says, the more gratitude that you have, the more bounty will fill your life. Cherish the preciousness of all things, and joy will fill your life. The universe is thankful for you. So that's beautiful. I do think that with this 844 combination, we may have a hard time finding this gratitude, but that is all the more reason as to why we should, if that makes sense, because it makes it all the more powerful, and it's going to set us up to move forward in a more positive, creative way. Is the way that I'm sensing it. Okay, here's the grounding stone for the week. It's the smallest grounding stone in the bag. It always amazes me that when I pull this one, because it's like a tiny little stone, and it's on carnelian, which is the root chakra to me. Associated that red color with the root chakra. So really grounding in this, and the idea of the word is give. And so what I feel about with give here is, like, when I look at that 8 of Swords, her being trapped, where can we give ourselves grace in our thoughts, in our perceptions of ourselves, in how we view ourselves, or how we view ourselves within situations with others? Where can we give ourselves the sort of grace or freedom or open-mindedness enough to release ourselves from whatever we feel stuck in, trapped, or stalled at? Then when I look at these 2 fours, the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Cups, what can I give to myself emotionally or materially, physically, that will help me to better understand and be in less, maybe say, fear or resentment or reluctance? Last week's reading, we had the Hermit in the midweek, and we ended with the Devil. So if we've been facing some heavy duty stuff, I can understand why we would be reluctant to want to do a little bit more work. But this week is asking us to do that. This give stone is asking us to clock into our own internal generosity and figure out ways to give to ourselves, like, instead of maybe expecting it from the outside world. Does that make sense? This is about internal validation this week rather than external validation. I'm going to say that. And the idea of giving is about giving ourselves the space, the freedom, the open-mindedness to kind of reconfigure how we feel, how we see, how we interact, what we think in our world. And the key to this week, I really do believe, is going to be the sense of gratitude, understanding that we deserve to be here just as much as the next person. The universe loves us and wants to bestow us with gifts, no matter how we even feel about ourselves. And we need to give ourselves that grace, give ourselves that sense of gratitude, give ourselves that sense of, if it's a little bit hard for us this week, or if we're struggling trying to sort out the answers and find, a smoothness to our life, we will. But we have to be willing to sort of be in that gratitude first and foremost, be thankful for those smaller things, and allow those things to expand and build upon each other so that we can give ourselves more and more and more. I hope that makes sense, you guys. I think it does. It'll be an interesting week. Please leave me a question or comment. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Hit the thumbs up button. Please share this out on your Instagram feeds or wherever you share your material. I would greatly appreciate it. If there's any tarot watchers out there or readers out there, please share my channel with other people that you think might enjoy my content and help me to grow my channel. And you guys take care. Have a wonderful week. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. All right. And thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.